Welcome to episode number 4 of Carl Knows People podcast. So today I got somebody who, I don't know, our past is a little different than any other guest I'm going to have. Musically, we've never played together. Our bands, I don't think have even played shows together, but he was a big part of my band, especially in, the early 90s hardcore straight edge scene. He put on a lot of shows in his basement. He put on shows elsewhere. He was kind of a local promoter. Today's guest is Jon Orton. How are you doing, Jon?
I'm good, man.
Good. Been waiting a while to do this.
I mean, we've been talking about doing something like this for years.
Yeah,
really long time.
One of us had to pull the trigger. I guess it was me.
Yeah.
So I usually start this, we'll talk about like our music history together, but I'm going to start from not the beginning with you. I'm going to start with,
if we went back to the beginning, I mean, we would go back. I mean,
do you remember when
so
we met?
long? Yeah. So I remember the first time I ever spoke to you.
Yep. So do I.
Where was it?
We'll see if I ask the questions here.
Okay. I remember it being when we both played at Mount Si. That was the first time I remember we said something about Kiss. It was like a passing comment because Toby was in both of our bands.
I don't remember you playing that. To be honest with you,
maybe I didn't. No,
it was my second show there at Mount Si. You were in the crowd. I remember being in the crowd. I'd seen you around school. Had never said anything to you. You had you made an impression on everybody. Just your stature, your long red flowing locks. And there was a comment about Kiss. We played a Kiss cover. A Detroit Rock City.
I think it was, yeah.
And I think you may have told me a fib. You said that your parents used to listen to Kiss in the house.
It was my aunt. No, and that was true. My aunt Sandra. Yeah, that was true. Yeah.
Okay, your aunt did. Your parents didn't, because your mom has made it very clear to me that she has never liked Kiss.
I might have said my parents just because just quicker than easier than explaining.
Just to connect.
My mom's sister lived with us for a while, so I might have said my parents. But yeah. My aunt Sandra was a big Kiss fan, and I remember she had like Kiss posters all over her wall, and I was like 5 or 6, and when I would walk by her room, I would hide my face because she and someone scared me. But I like the music.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember how I became a Kiss fan. It's just, I really don't. It just seems
we've talked
like
about
I
this.
always was.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I'm not a Kiss fan.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
Most people I talk to aren't.
What's that?
Most people I talk to aren't.
No, I'm not. I think musically they're really mediocre.
Yeah.
But obviously marketing, and I mean, coming from, it sounds funny for somebody that's such a huge pro wrestling fan. Kiss is too cartoony for me. That aspect, I appreciate them. I went and saw them. I mean, they played here in Bakersfield a few years ago, and I saw them
with the makeup.
Yeah.
I saw them twice. I saw them in the early 90s. That lineup, that was my Kiss lineup. That was the Eric Carr, Bruce Kulick lineup. That's when I was actually really into them. But we had posters on the wall of the old stuff just because, that's what we did. That was mine.
Yeah, I saw them on that tour they did with Stryper without the makeup, but I don't remember. I hardly remember anything about it because my cousin took me, and it was under it was a lie. Like I wasn't supposed to be there, and I was just fucking terrified I was going to be in trouble. I was like 10. I was like really young.
You saw them?
I remember.
So you saw them more than once? You saw them more than once or just once?
Yeah, I saw them twice. Okay. I saw them with and without makeup, but I vaguely remember seeing them without the makeup.
Jon, this is like time-wise closet for you. I enjoy it.
Yeah. So I mean, time-wise, it would have been right after they took off the makeup. So it would have been with Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah.
It was when, I'm gonna have to look up when they did that tour with Stryper.
That would have been, I believe, the Lick It Up tour.
Yeah,
that's the tour that's the album he played on, was Look It Up. So okay, so you and I have a long history, personal history. We have a long musical history of me playing in your
it's ran parallel. It's ran parallel, but not really intertwined.
Right. Yes, very much so. So we'll get to how our personal lives intertwine. Let's get back to, I know a little bit of, well, I probably know a lot of your history, but I'm sure there's a lot I don't know. I know for a fact you grew up in Bakersfield. Just let the cat out of the bag. John and I are former brothers-in-law. I married his sister.
My parents joked that we kept Carl in the divorce.
Yeah, they kept me. So I've remained friends with all of them throughout the years. So that's our personal history. We'll get to that later on. So
yeah,
you grew up in Bakersfield.
I don't think either of my parents would call you, and I just call you my brother-in-law. I've never said my ex-brother-in-law, which you're like the first of like 5 now. So I've never called you my ex-brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And I don't think my parents would call you their ex-son-in-law either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think
Yeah. So Bakersfield is where you were born and raised. I know that. So what was childhood like in Bakersfield for you? And so I've talked a little bit on my other podcast about religion. I know you had a big religious upbringing.
Yeah.
So let's get into that.
I was born in '76. Yeah, in Bakersfield. Yeah, like you said. So it was primarily my grandma. My dad's mom, very religious. I grew up in like the middle of like the 80s satanic panic. And that's what got really interesting because my mom especially has always been really into music. I mean, still like, to this day, my mom is super into music. It's like I tell people about my mom and my dad,
Hold on. Never mind. I just got an alert. You took over. It says John. It says your recording has stopped because you got an incoming phone call. But you took over.
Yeah, I took care of it. Yeah. So hopefully that won't happen again. But I tell people about my parents, and I know that like they think I'm joking. They tell stories about one of my dad's favorite bands being Cypress Hill.
Right.
And what's that?
Yeah, I remember he has a
my dad, super into Cypress Hill. I mean, still to this day. But my parents were really into music, among other things.
Then a colorful past.
Yeah,
little you can divulge what you'd like.
Well, but I mean, I can't say that didn't. We can laugh about it now because my parents have been, sober for years. Weed's not a drug.
Yeah,
10 years ago. 10 years ago. Would you even thought that I would say weed's not a drug and I don't give a fuck?
Nope.
I don't.
No,
not at all. But yeah, weed's not a drug.
I was afraid to eat grapes around you, to be honest.
Yeah, and there was a time, dude. Like there was a time that I totally get it, dude. Like, I was such like a dickhead, like militant straight edge, and I think because, and I don't think I know that, growing up the way that I did with my parents being addicts and seeing a lot of what I did, or seeing a lot of what I saw, like really. I was, still really angry, about the way I grew up, because I went to a Christian school. Like a private school, and my sister did too.
Do you want to give a shout out to that school at all?
The Stockdale Christian School could suck it. Yeah, as Apu from The Simpsons said, that was the site of my spiritual depancing. No, but my parents, were very different. They, I was a weird fat kid anyway. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
And then, we went to this school, and my dad, worked in the oil fields. My dad, like, blue collar. And the rest of the kids that went there, their dads were doctors and lawyers and ministers and stuff. And it took a lot for us to go there. And then, like on parent teacher nights and, shit, when parents would show up, like track meets and shit like that, my parents looked like, 70s, like hippies, They didn't look like the rest of the parents. So, I got shit for that. And, then, later on, I'm like way over it now. It's like my parents, this goes off on a whole other subject, but knowing now, like, how they grew up, fuck, man, it's like they did a pretty good fucking job, not fucking me and my sister up too bad. They did a really good job.
People think just because you become parents, or they think of their parents as already knowing what's going on. It's on the job training. Like there's no pamphlet. Nobody has the same type of kid.
Right, exactly. And just because what something works for one kid is not going to work for the next. Like you said, I mean, there's no, I mean, yeah, there's manuals for them, but I mean, they don't fucking apply to every fucking kid,
Yeah. If you're a little different, then you're that book's out the door.
Yeah.
Whatever book we're referring to, it could be one of many.
Yeah, probably a Rob Reiner book.
Yeah.
We read a lot of those. But the time I grew up in the 80s, and that was like the middle of the Satanic Panic. And, growing up in church, I talked about this with other people. When I was a kid, the fact that like there were people that didn't go to church, that church wasn't a huge part of their life, the fact that they weren't at church Saturday or Sunday morning and Sunday night, Wednesday night, the fact that they didn't go to youth group shit like during the week, the fact that people didn't do that did not occur to me. Like really? I had no idea that I had no idea that was not normal.
Yeah.
Like no clue. Like I'd meet kids at like a playground or something and be like, "What church do you go to?" And they're like, "I don't go to church."
Yeah.
And like I'd seriously be like, yeah, like it was that just didn't occur to me. But the weird juxtaposition is my mom was still like really into music, and I mean both my parents, but especially my mom. So it was like I remember when, and I don't know if I actually remember this or if this is like a false memory, but like I remember waiting for MTV to come on, because I would have been like 6 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah,
I would have been pretty young, but like that was such a big deal. So it was this really weird like juxtaposition where like this big part of my life, like church and everything else, are constantly talking about how music and rock and roll is evil.
Right.
But then at the same time, I've got my mom who would go to church maybe like once a month. Still really? Telling me I need to go to church. Yeah. And
I had a different impression.
It would go in spurts.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like she'd be really active, and then sometimes she wouldn't.
Yeah. But you went every Sunday because of your grandma?
Yeah.
Or you went when she went?
Well, my grandma went every Sunday.
Right, I know that.
Honestly, dude, like I cannot think of a time my grandma didn't go to church on Sunday, and we would always be late. And
man, I'm glad I was sitting down for that one. Did not expect that.
No, not at all.
Your mom was late for her own birth.
So, and you probably heard the story. So we would always be late for church, and going to church, like our church was like across town, and my grandma would be like speeding to church and would go through red lights, and when she'd go through red lights, she'd say, "Jesus," like, and it wasn't like every once in a while. That was like a Sunday thing. She would, because we would be late for church, she would run red lights and say, "Jesus," and how like she got pulled over one time. I remember her getting a ticket one time, and she was so pissed off about it. And I remember telling her to shut up. You're not making this any better for yourself.
Why was she was she late because she came to pick you guys up and you weren't ready? Or
no,
she ran late a lot?
No, we would spend most of the weekends at her house.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we would spend most of the weekends at her house, because my parents, a lot of times, like they would go down, because we lived like an hour and a half away from Hollywood, and not even 2 hours. Like it's close enough that it's like I've worked down there, half of my week for the last fucking 10 years. Like I can commute there, because commuting there is cheaper than living there. But they would go down to Hollywood, like that was when like the Sunset Strip and everything else was happening. They would go down there and just sort of like hang out. And I even remember times my parents would, instead of us going to my grandparents for the weekend, I remember just driving down to Hollywood and driving up and down the Sunset Strip. Like 8 years old. Yeah, that's when
looking at the pretty ladies.
The pretty ladies. That's where my sister saw the pretty ladies.
She wanted to be one.
We're driving down Sunset Strip. Well, it wouldn't have been Sunset, because there wouldn't have been hookers on Sunset. We passed by a place. It would have had
John,
to have been like
pretty ladies, not hookers.
We see a bunch of working girls, and my sister is just like, enamored. Like she sees them, and she's like,
sparkly.
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. Just sparkly. And it's these like obvious like.
I mean, that's why guys go to strip clubs or the sprinkles, you know, the glitter.
Yeah, which I mean that paid
not
my
much
bills
glamour,
for
but
a
glitter.
long time. Nope. Yep. I have to tell new dancers all the time. I managed a strip club for like 8 years, and I have to tell dancers all the time, like new dancers, don't wear fucking glitter because that's evidence. That is a movie cliche. That's not real. Strippers don't wear glitter because that's evidence. Take that shit off.
I saw a video not too long ago. This lady says she just zooms in on her husband, like from way far away. They were outside, and it's like one tiny piece of glitter, like on his cheek right here or something like that. And like in the comments, yep, that's enough to build a case against him. It's like just one piece of glitter.
And the amount of times I would have like angry wives and girlfriends show up at my club wanting to know if their husband was there, or they knew he was there because they saw his car or something like that. Like, dude, it was bad for business to let them in.
Yeah.
But it was just too entertaining to not. It was too funny not to.
Yeah, I referred to that was stripper dust, I believe, when I was younger.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure I'm
my parents
one,
would drive down to Hollywood, and we would see the Sunset Strip and all of that. And there was one time there were a bunch of prostitutes on a corner, and my sister was like totally enamored with them. Yeah. My God, Mom, Dad, look at the pretty ladies, talking about the pretty ladies. And then we got home and telling my grandparents about the trip, and my sister, tell them about the pretty ladies. And my sister just was obsessed with pretty ladies. And for the longest time, she would she had like her fake makeup and would do like her hair all up and everything like the pretty ladies.
Oh man, I didn't.
Not realizing.
I don't think I knew that part of it.
Yeah. I remember like ratting her hair up and. Nice. Yeah, I remember her. I don't think it was actually fake makeup. I think it was actually marker, like actually putting like marker on her face.
Mm.
As makeup.
We have that in common. One year, I think 4th grade, I decided I didn't believe that the razors in the shower actually worked, so I took it to my eyebrow and I shaved I shaved like the inside part of my eyebrow off. I was getting ready for school in the morning. I didn't look in the mirror after I did it. I didn't realize anything. My mom goes, "Why do you look so mad?" And she looks. She goes, "Did you shave your eyebrow?" I was like scared to tell her. Yeah. Finally, I did. I had to admit to it. Then her brilliant idea was, let's color it in.
An eyebrow. How do you not come clean with that one?
Let's color it in with a marker, but let's not make it waterproof marker. Let's make it kind that runs when I sweat at recess. So I had this black marker running down my face at recess time when I was sweating. So, anyway, that's my experience with marker on the face. So Christian school, I don't know if I should ask when you developed your personal taste in music first, or what you remember as far as like the first album or record that somebody bought for you. Then that would lead into the first record that you bought for yourself.
Okay, so my mom had a really extensive record collection.
Yeah.
She had a lot of different things. And I would play the records based on the cover. I thought the Dark Side of the Moon cover was really cool.
That didn't scare you?
No, it didn't.
Oh.
And The Wall. I thought The Wall was really cool because it was like a gatefold, and it's like it was this whole big image. I thought that was really cool. I was really into comic books too, and the fact that and comic books like have splash pages. It's where the comic book is joined together. You open it up, and instead of it's just both pages are the panel. I like to draw.
Yeah.
I like to draw. And
like where the posters used to be in the rock magazines, it'd be in dead center, so it'd be a bigger picture. Yep. Okay.
Exactly. And the Wall record felt like that. It's like a splash page, and it had it had the hammers, and they basically told the story of the Wall.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really cool. And then there was a Parliament Funkadelic record that had just a bunch of random stuff in it. And it had Batman and Robin down in the corner. So I thought that was cool. And they talked about space, and it sounded futuristic. So I liked Parliament Funkadelic.
Yeah.
And I liked Pink Floyd. And I remember liking Pat Benatar a lot. Because Pat Benatar's fucking awesome.
That was the first album somebody bought for me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, my cousin bought it for
So
me.
my sister and I, my grandma made us tapes. Pat Benatar. I still call her Pat Benatar.
So do I.
I still call her Pat Benatar.
Beavis and Butthead, for those who don't get that reference.
So a band I was playing in about 2 years ago. No, it was more than that. Probably about 4 years ago now. But we practiced down in West Hollywood. Had this like really nice rehearsal studio, and it was the same guy. I was sitting behind the counter at the rehearsal studio when you'd walk in, and I'm talking to him one day, waiting for everybody else to show up, and I noticed a bunch of gold records, and some of them were people that had rehearsed there, and I noticed one of them was Shadows of the Night, Pat Benatar. It's like, oh man, I love that song. And I started to tell the guy the story about how my grandma made me and my sister capes, and we would put the capes on. And you remember the plastic Fisher Price roller skates that went over your shoes?
Yeah, yeah.
I have no idea why these things like coalesced and came together and became a thing that we would do, and not like a one-time thing. This was a regular thing. So we would put on the capes, put on the roller skates, and my sister and I, we would have my mom put on Shadows of the Night, and my sister and I would do like interpretive dance to it around the living room. And I'm telling this guy this, and he's laughing just like you are, and then he's like, "Yeah, I wrote that song." It's like,
holy shit,
holy fucking shit! Yeah, first thing I had to do was like text my sister, like, "Okay, do you remember doing this? Is this just me, or do you remember doing this?" Like, yeah, I remember doing that. I was like, I just met the guy that wrote that song.
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
met the guy that wrote the soundtrack for your Bakersfield Circus Soleil act that you
for fucking bedroom, for living room ice capades. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, but no, yeah. So and then so
that's what that's the one you got bought was no. That's what you like.
No. So the first. So I'm gonna have to think really hard because I'm pretty sure that the first record I was ever bought was probably the Breakin' soundtrack. Because I got really into breakdancing. I was really into breakdancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just laugh because I know some of these backstories.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And again, I was this weird, like, chubby white kid. And there were some kids in my neighborhood that, like, could really, like, breakdance. Like, they fit the stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could really breakdance. I could not.
I got the story that's kind of not related, but so obviously we have a history also with Twin Peaks.
Mm-hmm.
The original Twin Peaks. Remember the guy that moonwalks like for absolutely no reason? They're showing a scene down the hall. He shuts his locker and he moonwalks out of the scene. Right. For me, that's how I pictured when you tell those stories. That's how I pictured that being you. But
that's not me, and I will tell you why.
Yeah,
because that guy could actually moonwalk.
Yeah, but I got another story.
Okay.
2 years ago, I think we had really bad hard water stains on our windows. So I just Googled window cleaners that were close. And this guy, I think his name is Magic Bubbles or something. I can't remember. It was a weird name, but I messaged him and he said he was just getting started in the window cleaning business. So I hired him to do it. Then my dad hired him to do it. And him and my dad started talking. And he went to Mount Si High School. He was like 4 years older than I was. And I went to his page on Facebook to look him up, see if I recognized like older pictures of him, and I didn't. But there was a clip of the moonwalking kid, and it was him.
No way, seriously?
Yeah, he lives in Soap Lake, just down the street, and he was here cleaning my windows, and I was like, what the heck? What are the chances of that happening?
That is nuts, dude. That is so cool.
I should get a hold of him because he says he's available to do podcasts and stuff like that, but I don't think he might have many more stories than that moonwalk scene, so.
That's a pretty good story, though. I mean, that's pretty good.
It'd be a 10-minute podcast.
I remember that. Yeah.
So that's that little side story. That's how I envisioned you when you would tell me your breakdowns stories, because you did have a mullet.
It was just he had a mullet. Just imagine a really awkward, chubby kid walking backwards and
just not sliding your
tripping
feet
over his feet, and that's what it was. I could not breakdance at all. I tried.
Yeah, but I did at my wedding. Do you remember that?
What's that?
I did at the wedding. Remember that?
I do remember that.
Did a little spinneroo on my back.
I do remember that. You got the Booker T. Spinneroonie. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember having the Breakin' soundtrack, and I remember having the Beach Street soundtrack, which came with like a vinyl breakdancing mat, and I remember having the Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force Planet Rock 12-inch. That it had. Side one was 2 different versions of Planet Rock. and then side B was just an extended version, like the whole. It was like a 15-minute version of Planet Rock. And I thought it was really cool, especially because of the chorus where it sounds all robotic. The rock, Planet Rock. I thought it was the coolest thing.
That's why I like
too young to
Mr. Roboto.
And, and I like Mr. Roboto. Yeah, but I would have been too young. Yeah, somebody obviously bought those for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first rap album was surprise, surprise, the Fat Boys. I believe maybe my one. No, I bought Eminem. I think later in life. I didn't branch out too broadly on my musical tastes. So when did you start to develop like kind of the harder stuff, the harder scenes, get into punk rock? That must have been teenage years, I would think, obviously.
Yeah, so I think it had to have run parallel with me getting into skateboarding. So I started skateboarding when I was in 4th grade. I met a guy. I just started skateboarding, and I don't remember, like, I always had a skateboard like most kids, and I don't remember one particular thing that made me sort of like gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just kind of, I mean, lots of things I've just sort of gotten into on my own. Mm-hmm. It's like lots of things that I've gotten into. Here's a really good example. Lots of people get into things because it's something their friends are into. I didn't realize it till later on. Like, I didn't really have like a whole lot of friends. Mm-hmm. So like I would get into things on my own, just things that I thought were cool. Yeah. So you remember laser tag?
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought laser tag was fucking cool. Mm-hmm. And that's what I wanted for my birthday. And
like an at-home set, or to go somewhere and do it?
No, like at home, like actual laser tag, like the brand laser tag with the black gun and then the silver thing that goes on the chest, like that particular thing.
Yeah,
it's so fucking bad. That's all I wanted, so I got it.
That was around 4th grade, you said?
3rd or 4th grade would have been around that time.
Yeah.
So, but this is just sort of an example of just me getting into things like on my own.
Yeah.
And like not really have it and don't even really know why.
Was it commercials?
Well, the commercials were cool, but so I got laser tag. And
you did get it.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. And it was really, really cool for about 45 minutes. Yeah. And then I realized I don't know anyone else with laser tag. None of my other friends had this. I knew no one else that had it.
Yeah.
It was fucking useless. And that thing was like $150.
Did you only get like one gun, one vest, or did you have at least a set?
No, it's just so there was another one. I remember what it was called. There's another one that came with like 2 guns. That wasn't the one I wanted because it didn't look as cool.
Yeah,
I wanted like the actual laser tag. It was 1 gun, 1 sensor. That was it. That's what I got. So I had to make my sister run around the backyard and like just. Like,
try to shoot you, or you were shooting her? Oh, okay.
I was shooting her. I'd put the thing on her chest and just like, and that was about it. But that was pretty indicative of like most of the things like I was into. I would think something was really cool and we get really into it, and I would know no one else that was into it.
Yeah.
And skateboarding was sort of the same thing. So I started to get into skateboarding, and then in 4th grade, I met a guy named David Prickett who was also really into skateboarding.
Did he happen to be into laser tag?
He was not into laser tag.
Oh, okay.
And that was a bummer. I remember like trying so hard to find somebody who was into laser tag. He was not into laser tag. I met a guy named David Prickett. He was into skateboarding too. And one day he brought an issue of Thrasher magazine to school. And I thought it was cool. It was a skateboarding magazine. I didn't even know that there was like such a thing. And Thrasher at the time had a section just all about music. Whenever they would interview skaters, skateboarding and music has always, really gone hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I remember them in one of the first issues I got. I remember them interviewing Metallica because Zorlac Skateboards put out like Metallica decks.
Yeah.
And
interesting.
Yeah. Things are like super rare and valuable now. Yeah, but it was Pusshead Graphics, because Pusshead did all was doing all the Metallica stuff at the time, but he did a lot of skateboard stuff too. So there was that crossover. But Dave had a lot to do with. Dave was really into music, and he was a little ahead of the curve. He was sort of like. He was getting into things like a little more than I would, or a little earlier than I was. And I found out later that the neighborhood he lived in, like there were some like older kids. Like we were in fourth grade, and there was some, like junior high, like high school kids. They were like always dubbing him tapes and stuff like that. So nice. That was like that was how it started. Like I had tapes with stuff that like some stuff like was labeled, some stuff wasn't. It's like I had and I had to hide them. I knew I had to hide them because like I thought, this is funny, but like at the time I don't think I really knew that punk rock existed. I thought anything with distorted guitars was heavy metal. So it's like I had tapes that were like I had a tape that one side of it was Kill 'Em All and the other side was Suicidal Tendencies, the first Suicidal Tendencies record.
Like an actual release, or someone dubbed it for you?
No, it was dubbed. Yeah, it was okay. It was dubbed. Yeah, and it just said Kill 'Em All. So I thought that the band was Kill 'Em All. I didn't realize later that it was Metallica. But like I had to hide them because I knew if I found it, if my grandma or my mom or somebody found them, like I would be in serious trouble. But yeah, so it was about so that would have been so it started around. I'm lumping like about a year or two together there. But that was really like kind of how it started, like how I sort of found like my own. I sort of started to develop my own taste. Like it definitely started with skateboarding, and then finding music that like other skaters listened to, and realizing that like I just liked it. Like, I liked it. It just sounded good. It just felt good. So yeah, that would have been the start of it, and then just paying attention to the bands that Thrasher would write about, and then I got a subscription to Thrasher magazine. And when you got a subscription to Thrasher magazine, you would get a tape called Skate Rock, and it was a compilation of like a bunch of different bands. And at that time, like the crossover thrash thing was like really happening. Like Suicidal had switched from like hardcore punk to more thrash. Same with like Cro-Mags and Agnostic Front and like DRI. Like those bands were like really big. Yeah. And then so that was one side, and then the other side had a bunch of like hardcore. It had like Instead, it had Brotherhood, it had I'm trying to remember some of the other bands, but those are like the main bands. So like yeah, I mean like me really like getting into punk rock was like ran parallel with skateboarding. But at the same time, I still like Poison and Rat and those bands were on MTV. And like I like those bands too. I had a cousin that I thought was really cool, and he was super into all that. I mean, he was he was sort of like a mix of Matthew McConaughey's character in
Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, he was sort of like him, and then also when Billy Madison when he pulls up in the REO Speedwagon shirt.
Yep.
Yeah,
blasting it. Yep.
Yeah, a combination of those two. Like I actually remember driving by South High School in Bakersfield when I was a kid and seeing like those guys, they're just wearing like some jeans with no shirt on, and it's like January. Yeah. And they're leaning against the hood of their car, like
January in Bakersfield.
What's that?
January in Bakersfield, a little different than Washington.
It's cold.
But it can
it's
get
not
cold.
Up there cold, but it's still cold. But and like I would just look at those guys and I think, man, those guys are so cool. I can't wait to be one of those guys.
It's like Todd. Is it Todd from Beavis and Butthead? It's like that guy.
Yeah, it's Todd. But what I didn't realize that those guys were like 25, dropping off their 14-year-old girlfriends, and they were not cool. Like I did not realize. Like at the time, I thought, oh man, those guys were awesome. Well, and then they'd be playing, like
the pretty girls thing. It's a whole thing. You don't know what the actual truth is behind it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Looking back now, I'm like, oh, those guys were like well into their 20s, and like they
heavy metal parking lot.
All pretenders at 18 on a regular basis. Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Look that up if you guys don't know what that is. You will not thank me later, or you might thank me. I don't know. It depends. I don't thank myself whenever I think it's fun.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks in a good way and a bad. I don't know.
But you know what? Like I was thinking about it, dude. I was thinking about it. We were younger, but still, like we experienced that to some degree, like that culture. Like we experienced that, so we knew that it happened. Mm-hmm. There is not nearly enough documentation of that whole like 80s metal, like that whole culture. Like there's not enough there's not nearly enough documentation of that.
I was thrown into it at my first concert, the Monsters of Rock in '88. I was thrust into that lifestyle, and everybody that lived it, it was eye-opening.
Yeah, and the fact that is your first concert, man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you top that?
You don't.
Was it the Dokken, Metallica, Kingdom Come, Scorpions, and Van Halen?
You got it.
Was that it?
Metallica second on the bill.
Dude, you saw Van Halen.
Yeah. My dad saw Van Halen stage side, like right in front of the stage, and couldn't give a shit.
That's just
And he was younger than me when he saw him, and I thought he was an old man, not giving a shit about our music.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he was like 88. He would have been 47 when that was happening.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
No, that's insane.
I think the way you probably did Hip Raider too. Did you get the yeah? So I didn't do the skateboard thing. I remember seeing them. They're probably near the same section of the magazine rack. But I was never into skateboarding. I had a skateboard, I didn't take to it. I didn't care. I would like go to an empty like basketball court in our trailer court where I grew up and like just push myself or have somebody else push me. Like I'd lay on it and they would push my feet and we'd try to zip around the thing, but I didn't ever actually skateboarded. But that's how I discovered music was Hip Raider. All I would open it for, I was hoping I'd see, if Kiss was on the cover, we're definitely getting it.
Yeah.
And if they had a Kiss poster in the middle, definitely.
Oh yeah, you're getting it. Yeah.
But they would always talk about new bands and all the up and coming stuff. Then, eventually they'd come on tour with some bigger acts and we tried to see as many as we could. But so what was the first album that you then bought on your own?
So I don't remember which one was first. I remember going to the warehouse and I remember buying the first Danzig record, which would have been 1988.
Okay.
I also remember buying the Misfits, Earth AD, around that same time, not even realizing that there's a connection there.
Right.
Like, not even realizing that it's the same guy singing.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it was around the same time, and that was the summer between 5th and 6th grade. So I had like a bunch of dub tapes. But that was one of the first things I remember like buying for myself, like skateboarding over from my grandma's house to the warehouse, which was like, I don't know, like half a mile away, and buying those.
I must have been fourth grade, 5th grade. I don't know. I could have been 3rd grade. First album was...
Let's do the summer from 4th and 5th. No, yeah, because it was the summer from 4th and... Yeah, 5th and 6th. Yeah, it was 5th and 6th. Yeah.
Loverboy, Working for the Weekend was my first one. I don't even know why. I don't even know if... It must have... I just heard it on the radio, maybe?
Because Loverboy was fucking great.
Yeah. But I didn't know that at the time with being that young.
Sorely underrated band from that era.
Then I remember buying, it was 6th grade, I distinctly remember buying Bon Jovi, which I thought was Slippery When Wet, but it was 9800 Degrees. So, and you don't know, there was no previews back then. You had to buy the tape, and if you liked it, good. If you didn't, you just wasted $11.
Yeah.
I ended up liking it, but they had some good stuff. They had some decent stuff on there, but so... Yeah, you were like into the darker stuff way early.
Yeah, like it was pretty early, but also like at the same time, like I was into like I remember buying like the Warrant tape because I liked it.
Yeah,
I've always loved Poison. I still love Poison, dude. Like, dude, I listen to Poison like once a week still. Like I love.
I never did Poison.
Love that shit.
I do Judas Priest a lot. I listen to Judas Priest I listen to Judas Priest weekly, and it's just the one album. It's the Turbo Lover album. I listen to that like all the time. Let me see. With White Snake, I do quite a bit. David Lee Roth, I do quite a bit. Van Halen, I do quite a bit. Well, I'm not going to say David Lee Roth. I'm going to say one song from David Lee Roth I always go back to. Kiss. Kiss for me, Just Like Paradise.
Yeah, that's if there's going to be a go-to David Lee Roth song, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. That video is so hard to watch.
No, that's when he was on the mountain.
Yeah, just dangling from the mountain, not even like climbing it.
Yeah.
And they have... After the solo or just during the solo, they have the drummer like standing up on the drum set, like sideways. He's like standing on the bass drum, but he's straddling like the toms and he's acting like he's still playing it. And he has the dumbest mullet ever, or like the greatest.
That drummer was, I'm pretty sure that drummer was Anton Fig, the guy that played with the Most Dangerous Band. Was that on him?
No, he drummed for Ace Frehley's Comets. But that's not him. I don't think.
Yeah, because he might not be in that video, but I know he played with David Lee Roth for a long time.
Who else to play for David Lee Roth is the current drummer of Korn.
Did he really?
Yeah, he played with David Lee Roth. Heard him or saw his band play. Then he asked him if he wanted to come over and jam. And little did he know he was trying out to go on tour with David Lee Roth, and he like toured with him for like 6 years. And like,
wow.
So. Yeah,
that would have been when he had that video. That's when he had Steve Vai and like Billy Sheehan, which is just like, I mean, you're not going to.
Yeah, Billy Sheehan wasn't in that one. I think he was in. what's that other Yankee Rose? Or
Is that a Yankee Rose?
Yeah.
This is like totally off the subject of anything, but like anytime I think of David Lee Roth, I think of Jason Becker and like what a heartbreaking story that is.
Yeah.
Like, do you know about like all of that?
I'm not recalling it right now.
So Jason Becker was like this guitar virtuoso, and he got the job playing for David Lee Roth when he was like 19 or something like that. And not long after that, like, so he was in this like shred metal band called Cacophony with Marty Friedman from Megadeth.
I remember we had that.
Yeah. So yeah.
How did you pronounce that? I always pronounce it Cacophony.
Yeah, that is right.
Okay.
Yeah, it is Cacophony. I don't know why I just said it that way. Yeah, it is
Cacophony.
I don't know why I just said it that way.
I don't either.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I thought I was wrong for a second.
Yeah, nope. You're right.
Yeah, there was some guitar playing on that album. Holy crap!
Yeah, because it's Marty Friedman and Jason Becker.
Yeah,
and then Jason Becker got diagnosed with ALS, with Lou Gehrig's disease, when he was like 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like slowly he eventually just like lost the ability to play guitar, and now like he's like all he still makes music, but like with this, his dad created this computer, like all he has use of now is like one eye. He still composes electronic music with just that one eye.
Yeah,
but there's a documentary. I can't remember the documentary, but man, that story is just like heartbreaking. Like he was like poised to be like the next like Eddie Van Halen, because he got this job with David Lee Roth when he was like 19 or 20 years old, and gets diagnosed with this disease that like takes away his ability to play.
And an interesting side story of Lou Gehrig's disease. They studied what Lou Gehrig died from, and it wasn't Lou Gehrig's disease. It was something else, but they thought it was. Yeah, but they named the whole thing after him, but that wasn't. He didn't actually have it. It's kind of interesting.
Now I'm just thinking of, do you remember the Norm Macdonald bit when he was Lou Gehrig?
No.
I feel like the luckiest man alive. No, I'm kidding. I am the unluckiest man alive. I have a disease so rare they named it after me.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald.
Yeah. Oh fuck! I just saw a video yesterday. Yeah, I went and saw my cardiologist, and he says if you don't lose some weight, you're gonna die. You're expecting a joke?
Yeah, the other guy. That's not
funny.
He's
a cardiologist. He's not a comedian. That guy was fucking phenomenal. The best comedian.
I don't know why dogs bark and get all excited when the doorbell rings. It's rarely for them. The driest sense of humor ever. No, that's not true. I think David Wright. No. David Wright? Stephen Wright. Yeah. Wright. Yeah, he has the driest.
Yeah, I was talking to Patton Oswalt about the Bill Cosby situation, and he says,
comedian driving in cars.
The worst part was hypocrisy. Well, to me, I disagree. To me, the worst part was the raping.
What's the raping?
God, what a fucking genius. You're so far off topic.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway,
where were we on this topic? Cacophony.
It just was like
David Lee Roth
getting into music. It was sort of buying music for ourselves. So yeah, I had two different music collections. I had one that if my mom, would randomly my parents were pretty good about giving us privacy and everything, but my mom, there was still there were times I'd come home and my room was clean and, make sure she didn't find, certain things. But I had two music collections. I had the one that like it'd be okay if she found, and at that time that was mostly metal. I mean, that was pretty much all metal stuff, and then some punk stuff. It was like like Dead Kennedys. It was pretty eclectic, because I mean it was serious. It would seriously be like Warrant and Dead Kennedys, and then I had like my secret collection, which was like Danzig and Slayer and stuff like that. So
yeah. My parents never. I don't think my parents ever really cared what we listened to, as long as it wasn't too loud. My dad would just make fun of it, and
I don't think. And my mom, I really think it wasn't so much my dad. It was my mom. I really think she was just, because again, like this was like the Satanic Panic stuff had died down a little bit, but it was still there.
Yeah.
And I think, like looking back on it now, I think my mom at the time probably knew it was all bullshit, because now she fully knows it was bullshit, and she admits that she was wrong to follow along with it. I think that she probably knew that it was bullshit, but was hedging her bets just in case it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what it was.
So let's get back to your dad a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess your grandma was your grandma that very religious when your dad was a kid too? Did your dad grow up in
I
the
don't
church?
know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
I don't see, when I think of your guys in church, I don't equate him into it, which is weird because it was his mom that was really, really religious. I view your
Right,
mom
and
as
he
the
wasn't.
religious one. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
so like
frozen.
by the time like we were
There you go.
born, my dad had his younger brother and sister, and
Yeah.
they've lived at
Yeah.
my what's that? Yeah, they lived at my grandparents' house, so they were married. Like they moved out like the day they got married. Yeah, so like they're in their 20s, and you know living at home and going to church just like my grandma did.
Yeah, and they still do, right? As far as you know.
As far as I don't really, yeah. Like that's still,
I know.
Like,
I think Karen probably does. Friends with her on Facebook. She doesn't post much. She likes stuff, but Tim will post every once in a while. But
I honestly like I've seen that's them, that's their life, you know.
But you don't remember, you don't know if your dad did as a kid.
No, I don't know. Yeah. It's a good question.
Interesting. Yeah.
So
I know your grandma married us. She married Liz
Mhm.
and I. She performed the ceremony. I loved your grandma. She was good, really good to me all the time.
She was awesome. Yeah, later in her life, she did a lot of really cool things. Yeah, one thing she did when the AIDS epidemic like really started to happen,
Uh-huh.
and she got a lot of shit for it. She was going and like praying with
on the religious side.
What's up?
From the religious side of the
like
side of
she
things?
was, she got a lot of shit from the religious side because like she was going and like praying to these AIDS patients.
Yeah.
And
in the hospitals.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was still when people thought that like you could just get AIDS by touching somebody.
Yeah. Catch it.
And it was and a lot of people, you know, that, you know, the other ministers, you know, still, you know, preach that. I say this like this is not a thing anymore, and it is, but you know they still preach. You know, it was widely accepted that AIDS was a punishment from God.
Yeah, they called it gay cancer.
Exactly. Yeah, when they called it the gay cancer, and my grandma just like that doesn't make sense to me. I don't believe that. I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
and yeah, she went and she prayed with dying AIDS patients.
It is so weird. Back then, early 90s, late 80s, I mean, you get AIDS, it's done. Like, that was the pandemic. That was, like, a death sentence. Now, it's like, you don't even think about it. You're like, people don't die. Right. People don't, they do, but people don't die of AIDS.
Yeah, not like it used to be, which is, but yeah, my grandma, she was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she loved you.
Yeah.
Both my grandparents did.
She was great. Both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
So getting into not just listening to music, playing music, when did you want and when did you get your first guitar?
So my first guitar was actually my mom's first guitar. It was a cheap Yamaha. It wasn't even made out of wood. It was a Yamaha. Yeah. But it was like fiberglass. My parents, this would have been the summer, I think this was like the summer between 6th and 7th grade. My parents and my dad traveled for work a lot. And like a lot. My mom went on some work trip with them, and they were going to be gone for like a week or two. And my sister and I were, I mean, again, Gen X, you know, we were, you know, basically just left to our own device. I mean, we lived that same life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I remember my mom, you know, we'd get up and we'd make her own breakfast, and my mom telling us to get outside and don't come back in unless somebody was dead.
Right.
So we had that same feral upbringing, you know, that everyone else in our generation did. So our parents like basically used this work trip as a vacation and just left me and my sister at home.
Yeah.
And we were at home like by ourselves for like a week or two. Mm-hmm. Like, and my grandma would come by and check on us, but we were just at home. I say it was a week or two, but like, and I can't imagine. It probably seems that long, but like in reality, it was
4 or
probably
5 days.
Yeah. Probably, that's probably more realistic. But I remember just being bored and then just like being just, you know, I loved music and just going into my mom's closet and got her guitar and in the case.
Electric or acoustic?
It was acoustic. Yeah, it was acoustic, and it was seriously just that simple. Like there was no real like big thought process to it or anything. It was just, you know, boredom. I really like music. I want to try and I've learned that's one thing about me. It's like I'm not really like I'm an observer. You know, it's like I'm more of a doer. You know, it's like if I see something and I like it, I want to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, again, I started seeing skateboarding. I like skateboarding, so I wanted to try it. Pro wrestling, it's like how many people, I mean, if you look at the amount of pro wrestling fans to like the amount of pro wrestling fans that actually become pro wrestlers, it's a really small amount. It's like I did that. It's like I get into MMA, so it's like I started doing jujitsu and start competing in jujitsu. It's like I've realized that I'm more of a doer than a watcher.
Yeah.
So something really interesting. If I develop like. And, also found out a few years ago I have ADHD, so it's like I know now that it's hyperfixation. It's like if I see something that interests me, I hyperfixate on it, and that includes wanting to do it and wanting to do all of it. So that's what.
So you didn't have visions of like watching the bands that you liked, picking up a guitar, imagining that would be you one day. Nothing like that. It was just out of boredom. You liked music, you wanted to learn it. You didn't have any grandeur.
So initially, no, but then for a time I did, but then like I realized like really, dude, it was just playing music. Like that's all I was really interested in was just playing music.
Yeah.
Like,
do you remember the first song you learned how to play?
Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
Nice.
Yep.
Hence the love of Poison, lifetime love of Poison.
Yeah. And honestly, and I realized, and I was able to figure that out because in the video it actually shows Brett playing the song.
Okay.
And I recognized the chord shapes because I had that book. It was a book of picture chord. It had somebody like actually like fretting the notes, and then it had like the tab for the chords.
Yeah.
So and I could see I recognized the chord shapes. So yeah, Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
Mine was Rock You Like a Hurricane.
That's a good one.
Interesting. My brother Glenn, my oldest brother, taught me how to play that song. Probably till this day, that's the only song he's ever known how to play.
Really?
His friend had a guitar. We bought a guitar. Glenn's friend taught him how to play that. So he taught Chad and I how to play that, and that's as far as his music kind of endeavors.
I didn't know Glenn ever played anything.
He played that. Well, he didn't really. I mean, he played that. He learned how to do that, and for a short time in his adult life, he had an electric drum set, which I still have downstairs in my basement right now. He bought an electric drum set because he lived in he lived in townhouses in Seattle, and he couldn't have a real drum set, but he always liked drumming. He did the whole air drumming in the truck, the car while you're driving. So he bought something so he can, but he still got complaints because you can still hear
you can still stomping. They're
so he still got complaints. And then when he moved on to Hawaii, he didn't take him with him. So he just for more or less, he needed a place to store him and give him. He didn't give him, but he did give him because he's never going to.
Yeah, he's not getting them back.
Yeah, so
I
did put them to use several times in that last band I was in.
Yeah.
Live and recording. So yeah, he taught us that first song. Were you in? So what age would that have been for you?
So that probably would have.
Okay, your mom's guitar. But what's the first one you got for you?
Okay, so it was probably less than a year later.
Okay.
So I don't remember how I got it. I got it from a friend. It was just like a no name like hollow body.
Yeah.
Like I remember the body was like a Gibson ES335, and it had like the trapeze bridge.
Okay.
But then the headstock was shaped like a Fender.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just like
pieced together. You think?
No, I think it was just like some weird knockoff.
Oh, okay.
Like it was cheap. Like the tuning keys were plastic. Like the tuning pegs were plastic. It was just it was just a cheap guitar. Like it was probably something somebody bought, and it was old. So it was something that somebody probably ordered out of a catalog in like the 70s.
So Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Is that your mom's guitar, or was it that one?
So that was with my mom's guitar. I learned that within just maybe a week or two of learning how to play.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then that's how I learned basically, like, it seems like common sense to us, but it's not. We've been doing this for so long, we forget that like a song is made by putting a bunch of chords of the same key together. Just messing around with chords and finding out what sounds good together.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how I figured that out. That's like learning Every Rose Has Its Thorn, like recognizing those chord shapes. Like that's how I realized that that's what playing guitar is, or at least from a rhythm standpoint. Just playing a bunch of chords in succession. Chords that just sound good together.
Yeah. Like
that. That's how I figured that out.
So and they sound good together because they're in the same key.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Once I figured out Every Rose Has Its Thorn, then that like just opened up like so much shit. And yeah. But yeah, that was that acoustic guitar, and then not long after that, yeah, I got that cheap, just like knockoff guitar, and then not long after that, it was Christmas, and I got a Squire Strat. It was the HSS, the humbucker single coil Squire Strat. So that was like my first like proper guitar, and that was within a year of me like learning how to play. Because my parents, like once I started playing, my parents were super supportive.
Did you ever take lessons, like actual lessons?
Yeah, I took lessons a couple of times. I took lessons from a guy that actually still gives lessons here in Bakersfield. This guy named Reginald Langenhofer. He's like actually from Germany, and he's a really good guitar player. He focused on like music theory. Yeah, so I actually learned some of that. Like, I learned how to like read notes. Mm-hmm. Like it takes me some time. I can't sight read where I can just look at it and see exactly what it is, but it's like I still have retained enough information. It's like, okay, this is a key, this is the time signature. Like I can sort of roughly, if I look at a piece of music, I can roughly figure out like, okay, I know this is a middle C on a piano. I know this is what this corresponds to. I can roughly sort of piece it together.
I could do that when I played trumpet. I could sight read when I played trumpet in school band, but guitar, I never learned. Well, I didn't really learn it at all. I could do tab, but someone called out, play this chord. Nope.
It doesn't just happen instantly. It's not like I can look at it and be like, okay, that's this chord. And,
I would love to be able to.
This key, me too. Yeah. I can't look at it and be like, okay, because it's in this key, it's this chord in this position with this voicing. Like I can't do that, but like if I look at a piece of music for a while, again, like I can look at the time signature, I can look at the key, and then I can sort of roughly figure it out. I can break it down to like its most basic elements.
Or to have perfect pitch, you just hear a note and you know exactly what note it is.
Yeah, fucking anybody with perfect pitch. Yeah, because I've said, and I still maintain, like I do not have a shred of musical talent. I have no talent whatsoever. I have just had to work really, really hard for over 30 fucking years, to just kind of not suck. And I think that's really accurate. I think that's
one of the few things.
I don't suck.
Yeah, it's one of the few things where you can not know what you do and still be succevsual.
Right.
There's people that know theory. There's people that don't know theory. James Hetfield, one of the greatest rhythm guitar players.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. When I've met people that are like just starting out and they think they need to know all of this stuff, like it's crucial. Like if you want to learn it, absolutely learn it.
Yeah, it's helpful.
But it's not necessary because you got James Hetfield, the guy that writes the songs for like undisputedly one of the most successful bands in the history of anything. You know, when you watch him, he's like, okay, it's this finger right here on this dot, and then you go down to this dot, and then the space between this dot. Like,
yeah, that story when they were going to put the orchestra behind him, and he was like, how am I going to tell them what to play? Oh, they'll figure it out. You know, it's like yeah. That's like that. Yeah, it's a crazy thing because I've been in bands with people that like. Well, me, first of all, I was not a drummer. I'll just use the last band, for example. I was not a drummer, but I was drumming. The guy that started the band, probably the worst player in the band, he knew a lot, like chord-wise, theory-wise, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't like pull it off very well at all. Yeah. We had another guy who kind of doesn't know chords. He was our lead guitar player. He's just been doing it forever. We have a singer who kind of sort of knows music theory, but he didn't play any instruments. Then we had our bass player who knew music theory, was very, very good at it. It was Cliff's wife. She kind of like was the driving force kind of behind everything of what we did. It was just all covers. So, but all those different levels of knowledge, levels of talent get together and you can still make music together.
Yeah, right. It's like you look at Nirvana and, we talked about this, it's like not that long ago we were talking about this. How we weren't at Haight-Ashbury in the 60s. We weren't at Sunset Strip in the 80s, but we can say like we were there when Seattle. We were in Seattle in the 90s. It's like I don't know if you were there when Pearl Jam did that big show at Magnuson Park, and there's that super famous picture of Eddie Vedder hanging from the rafters.
Yeah, I was not there.
Yeah, I was there. Me and my sister were there.
Yeah,
and we were like pretty close too. Mm-hmm. Lollapalooza, tons of shit like we were there for, and pretty fucking cool. But anyway,
do you watch Rick Beato?
Yeah.
he was doing a Nirvana song. You know, he breaks down songs. What makes the song good? You know, what makes the song and what makes the song great? I think it was what that series was. And he was doing a Nirvana song, and he was telling me all these things that he's doing. And he goes, Kurt Cobain didn't know what he was doing or why he was doing it, but I'm going to tell you what he was doing and why he did it. He can't explain it, but I can, because he understands theory, and Kurt Cobain just understood what, you know, he thought sounded good, and apparently a lot of other people thought sounded good.
Right, and that's the crazy thing about Nirvana. It's like you've got two guys in one band. You've got Kurt Cobain and Dave Grohl, who don't know shit about music theory, but have like gone on to like, I mean, have been in two separate bands that have like defined like two completely separate generations.
Yeah,
you know, and again, if you ask them to like break down like a chord structure, or like write a chart for like a basic chart for one of their songs, like they wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, as much as I was never a Nirvana fan, but I cannot deny that they completely changed the face of music.
Yeah, and I've tried to like talk to people about that. If you weren't around then, or still too young to be conscious of like what was really going on with popular culture, how fast Nirvana changed everything.
Yeah,
like, Smells Like Teen Spirit hit, and within like days, everything changed. Not just music, everything, fashion, advertising, everything. We actually, you know, if it went to school for graphic design, like that's there are things that are benchmarks that have changed the way everything is done in terms of the way products are sold. Nirvana
things that had nothing to do with music, like that when they used to have 1-800 whatever, that long distance phone card, David Spade. Then they had Melvin or Melman or whatever from David Letterman, and he was dressed up like
Larry Bud,
and he was dressed up like some, you know, grunge guy with his fake beard and stuff, like nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, but like Nirvana's impact is now studied in things that have nothing to do with music. Like Nirvana's impact on how products were sold is studied in like advertising and design schools. You know, it's like if you didn't witness that, it's hard to really like quantify like how Nirvana changed everything.
And I don't know if it was the same way with Elvis or Beatles. They changed music for sure, but
you know,
they changed popular culture as much as Nirvana did.
You know, Ozzy, man, dude, I have never cried more over somebody I've never met.
Yeah.
Than I have
when Ozzy died.
Ozzy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, that still gets me. But he said it, Ozzy was a huge Beatles fan, and he said that seeing the Beatles for the first time was like going to bed in a black and white world and waking up and everything's in color.
Yeah.
It's like the Wizard of Oz.
I saw the clip of him meeting Paul McCartney for the first time.
God, that was like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man. And
he looked up to Paul McCartney like people looked up to him. Like people look up to him.
Right, exactly. And I mean, again, that's something else I've been trying to tell people that, you know, are a bit younger, that didn't grow up in the 80s and like in the midst of that whole satanic panic, where Ozzy was like, if you would have asked people back then, was Ozzy like this physical embodiment of Satan?
Yes.
They would have absolutely told you that he absolutely was Ozzy. And like it's trying to explain like how despised and feared Ozzy was, like you can't really get the point across. Like he literally was public enemy number one.
Yeah. Kiss too.
So yeah.
I mean, Kiss happened. The Ozzy thing was him in the 80s, right? Not really Sabbath, but him like in the 80s.
In the 80s with the bat and, you know, and all of that stuff.
Because Kiss's moniker or whatever, there was Kids in Satan's Service or Knights in Satan's Service, one of the two, and like.
Which they just totally leaned into with Crazy Nights, which I appreciate. I appreciate them leaning into that.
Yeah,
that was good. But just the fact that like Ozzy was like so, like he was like, it wasn't just a name. Like he literally was the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
But to think that, so the fact that like he even made it to 2025 is just fucking mind blowing. But then when he passes away, he is so loved that like fucking Kermit the Frog and Dolly Parton, like, you know, like mourn like his passing.
Yeah.
And like the Royal Guard is playing his music. You know, Buckingham Palace, you know, is paying tribute to him. That's just fucking mind blowing.
I haven't seen the video, but I've seen not clips, but articles, and I want to see the video. But apparently, George Strait played "Mama, I'm Coming Home" the night that Ozzy died.
That's fucking crazy. I mean, you've probably seen all the videos from. I mean, you obviously, you know, you'd expect like the entire like metal, like heavy music world to pay tribute. But then it's like you also see videos from like Coldplay and like Dave Matthews, you know, fucking Cyndi Lauper.
I saw this country guy doing No More Tears. Like,
I saw that too. That was,
it was
so
really good. Yeah, the violin playing the lead.
That was so good. I even had a comment like, dude, I expected this to suck, but man, you nailed it.
Him playing the bass and saying like play that bass part perfect.
Yeah,
and
same guy
groove.
I saw.
Yeah, it was so good.
But going back to the Beatles, like, you know, talking about Ozzy, you got the guys talking about the Beatles. I was talking about Ozzy. Like, I've read just about every biography or autobiography from like every punk musician there is, and pretty much all of them goes back to the Beatles. I mean, all of the Ramones, the Stooges, the MC5, the New York Dolls, everything goes back to the Beatles. So like if you look at it in terms of like, you know, the Ramones influence generations of bands, or still influencing generations of bands. You know, the New York Dolls, you know, I mean, Poison is the New York, Motley Crue and Poison are the New York Dolls. They could just play a little bit better. Yeah. So the New York Dolls are, I mean, there's no difference. Like, again, they were slightly better musicians, style-wise, sound-wise, attitude-wise. I mean, it's a direct line. Anyway, point being, so either directly or indirectly, the Beatles, like, they changed absolutely everything. And see, like, the Beatles, with the exception of a couple of songs, it's like their music is never, like, I like music that makes me feel something. You know, it can't just sound good to me. Like, there's plenty of music that sounds good. You know, it's like I like listening. If I want to hear something that like just sounds good but doesn't make me feel anything, it's like I'll put on like a lot of like rap or hip hop, because it's like I can appreciate, especially guys like Nas and Kendrick Lamar, like the way like they construct lyrics. Like it's like the fuck they did that is mind boggling.
Yeah, I don't get it. I respect the hell out of it.
Like like that video where Eminem is like explaining how to rhyme orange. Like, how does your brain even work that way? Jesus Christ, dude. But it's like the Beatles, like most of their music has never made me feel anything, with the exception of a couple of songs. But just from like, there's no way, like as a musician, like you cannot appreciate them. Especially considering that, like, you know how long the Beatles were together as a band?
10 years.
Less. It was 7 years. Like,
it was like
like the record. Yeah, it was like 9 years as a band, but then like the recorded output from the time like their first like album dropped to the time like they broke up, like it was 7 years.
It's crazy.
Like, they existed to the public as they changed the world to the point that we're still talking about them.
And
in 7 years.
When I think about it, at least 20. They had to have been together for at least 20, 25 years. You know, when you think about the
when you think about
volume and the catalog that they put out.
Yeah, like their impact. Did I ever tell you about the time when I was working at Rock Candy and I met Sean Lennon?
No.
Yeah. Which was the younger ones, Julian or Sean? The one that's exactly like him. The one he had with Yoko. That's Sean, right?
Yeah, that's Sean. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah.
Julian looks just like him. Sean looks like him.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I worked at Rock. I worked at Rock Candy for a long time. I was at Security Rock Candy for a long.
Yeah.
And so I met a lot of people working there, because it wasn't just Rock Candy. You know, Laura Lefevre that did shows there. She would also do shows at like DV8 and like other places if Rock Candy was too small. Yeah. So like I met a lot of people like you know, working there. Yeah. One day I show up for work, and me and Derek, I'd picked up Derek from Under City Devils, and he was stage manager. I was at security, and we show up, and the band Chiba Mata was playing, and he was in that band. And we're walking, and like as we're walking, he just walks like right in front of us, and both of us like just froze, and my blood seriously ran cold, because it was seriously like looking at the ghost of John Lennon, because it wasn't just the fact that like he looks exactly like him. It was just knowing that's John Lennon's DNA.
You're right.
That's half of John Lennon. And again, like not even being like a huge Beatles fan, dude, that's fucking John Lennon. Like that was just like mind blowing. He was really cool. Yeah, he was really nice. You know, lots of people were there with, you know, John Lennon stuff for him to sign. And one of the guys that we worked with asked him, like, dude, is this hard for you? Like, do you need to like tell these people not to shove pictures? This isn't exactly what he said, but he was basically asking, do you want us to not tell pictures, or do you want us to tell people to not shove pictures of your dead dad in your face? And that, you know, that's not how we said it, but that's what he was saying. And he said, no, I don't remember my dad. So these are my only memories of my dad are.
That's crazy too.
Yeah, he said, I don't remember my dad, but I get to hear stories about him every day. My only relationship with my dad is through other people. And I was like, fuck, man.
Crazy.
Oh. Yeah.
Not,
So
not to get too far off the subject, my fiance Renee, she raised her nephew, and his dad died when he was 23, and Will is his name, was like 2.5, maybe 3. So he's the same way. Like he only knows his dad through stories from other people because he was so young when he died. Yeah, that would be strange.
Yeah, and we're all standing there, and he says that, and all of us, it's like we're all just trying tough punk rock guys, and we're all just like, no, yeah, exactly, yeah. He was actually like really high up there with like one of the people that was like absolute like the best to his fans. Like he was one of the best. Cool. Yeah, he was really cool.
Yeah. So from getting your first guitar, learning some music, when did you get up the nerve to maybe play with somebody else? You meet somebody else who plays, and you decide to either start a band or just jam with somebody else.
So I started trying to find people pretty quickly, and it goes back to what I was saying before, just sort of getting into things on my own, not really knowing a lot of other people that did them. So it took a while. It took a little while. I was in 8th grade, and I was wearing Doc Martens. First day of 8th grade, a guy named Danny Headley walked up to me and he said, like those Bugle Boy commercials, he says, "Excuse me, are those Dr. Martens you're wearing?" I said, "Well, yes, they are." So we we found out that, we're both into punk rock, and, he plays guitar, his brother plays drums. So we started jamming a little bit, and it didn't really go anywhere. They ended up starting another.
Is that the Danny that I know through all those pictures?
Yes.
That you guys have shown? Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's Danny. Yeah. It didn't really go anywhere because I wanted to play like more like they wanted to play just like straight ahead punk rock, and I wanted to do like, because I like heavier stuff too. So I wanted to do like more thrashy type stuff. So then I ended up finding a couple other people from like once we started like going to punk shows. I met a couple other people that were sort of into the same stuff. Like hardcore, and I mean, we're just we're interested in just doing like crossover thrash stuff. The only problem is you kind of have to be able to play a little bit.
Yeah, that helps.
To be able to do that, and we couldn't. Yeah, so it just ended up being another shitty punk band.
Yeah. What was speaking of going to see shows, I know you probably saw smaller shows. Mm-hmm. Your first concert experience, do you remember that one that you wanted to go to, not that maybe you got dragged to?
Okay, so the first one that I went to that I wanted to go to was my 8th grade year. Hold on, I can actually tell you what year it is. I can tell you.
Probably 90, 89, 90.
Probably Fear of the Dark. It was whatever year Fear of the Dark.
No, it was probably 99, 91.
Yep, 91.
Yeah,
it was 91. Yeah, it was Anthrax.
Nice. At an arena.
Yep. Yeah, cool. It was at the Bakersfield Civic Auditorium.
Oh man, that'd be a good show.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to go. My friend's mom, Danny's mom, bought my ticket. My parents would not have let me go. So I said I was staying the night at a friend's house.
Yeah. And, do they know yet?
Oh yeah, they know now. Yeah. They know now. I'm not sure if they know that my cousin Patrick took me to the Kiss and Striper show. I'm not sure if I've ever told them that.
Yeah. Kiss and Striper, that's kind of funny in its own.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they know that. But Anthrax and Iron Maiden. And we were in 8th grade, and it was really early on in the year. It was still cold outside. So it was no, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, I remember it was cold outside, but Anthrax opened, and me and my friends were like, dude, we watched so hard, dude, as soon as Anthrax comes on. And I remember light comes up, Frankie Bellows got his foot. It was still one of my favorite bass players ever. I still love Anthrax, but he's got his foot up on the monitor, and he's playing. And
what got you into Anthrax? Was it I'm the Man, or was it other stuff?
No, actually, it was crossover with. There were a lot of skaters like Anthrax, because again, like there were Anthrax skateboards.
Yeah. So
they were like one of those bands. They were like one of those, like even though it was like it was never cool in within skateboarding to like Poison the Rat and everything else, but like thrash was cool. It's like Anthrax was cool. but I remember buying the State of Euphoria. I remember buying that tape. It wasn't the first tape I bought, but it was within like the first like it was within the first like 10 tapes that I bought. Yeah, so yeah, Like Comes Out, Frankie Bello, doing the intro to I believe it was Antisocial or Indians, and then the chord just erupted. Like Hesher's like way bigger and scarier than us. Just like start circle pitting, and like my friends and I could not get out of there fast enough.
Yeah, that's
like,
scary.
Like we ran up to the stands and did not leave the entire time. And like the whole we've been talking for days about like how hard we were gonna monitor and how fuck shit up.
Yep.
Yeah, like I mean, 30 seconds into Anthrax, we're gone. Yeah, we stayed up in the stands the entire show. Like, yeah, I remember like actually like having to pee so bad, going into the bathroom and walking. And this is like something out of a movie that you think wouldn't really like actually exist. Like it's like you see things like you see it like that doesn't actually happen at metal shows, but it happened. Walk into the bathroom and there is a guy headbutting, like not the stall door, but like the side of the stall.
Yeah,
headbutting it. And people like cheering him on. He'd been headbutting it for a while. Like the thing is like get into shit, blood everywhere. Like it's starting to like actually come off.
Yeah.
And then I just like seriously like just turn around, walk right back out. Like I can wait.
Yeah.
I can hold it.
We went our first show. We went to the bathroom during Scorpions. We did not see a cord. We didn't see a cord of the Scorpions. We were walking up the stairs to get to the where the bathroom, the concession stands and all that. It took us that long to get something to drink and go to the bathroom. Walk into the bathroom, there's like, I swear, 3 to 4 inches of pee on the ground because they shoved toilet paper and paper towels into every toilet, every urinal, and just people were just going on the ground. I mean, chaos.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, totally checks out.
Yeah. So let's skip forward just a little bit. You move from Bakersfield to Snoqualmie Valley to Falls City first, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
And I didn't meet you. You were I did not know you guys when you were in that first house.
Right.
I didn't meet you until I met you in that second house. So we started working together.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza place. I don't think we interacted much before then.
No, not really. No.
I don't think so. Then I started giving you rides home. You didn't have a car or a license. I can't remember which one, but either way, you needed rides.
Yeah, I didn't get my license until I was 18.
Okay. So I was giving you rides home. I will give you 100% credit for introducing me to hardcore straight edge culture. I had no idea what it was, that it existed at all. I couldn't understand why you were so excited when I told you the first band I played with on my first show was Undertow. Because I believe you had heard of Undertow when you were in California.
Before I moved.
Yeah. That's what surprised me.
I knew who they were.
I lived in the same town with the singer, and I had no idea who he was. I remember him from high school. I remember him, but I never knew the band or anything. Then I remember seeing him, and it was like, okay, I get it. I get the excitement a little bit. And so we started working together. You were a dishwasher. I was delivering pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
I started coming over to your house.
Put some gas in that bitch.
That's right. You started telling me about the shows you were going to put on, or you and your parents put on down in the basement. I can't remember if I don't think I was at the first one. Wasn't the Green? Didn't they play the very first one that you put on?
Yeah.
Wasn't that Adam Hart's birthday or something? Was that?
It was something like that. See, I started putting on shows here, like when I lived here.
Yeah, I know your mom put them on down in California.
What's that?
I know your mom put them on in California at that Radiator shop. I guess we could have touched on that, but somebody put them on.
Okay, here's what happened.
Okay.
So my there was only one place in town that did shows, and so if they weren't doing shows, then there was nothing to do.
Was that Jerry's Pizza?
No, that was a place called Bam Bam's.
Oh, Bam Bam's.
Before Jerry's Pizza.
Okay.
Yeah. This was before Jerry's Pizza. Yeah, and so there was nothing going on Bam and Bam Bam's wasn't open all the time. It was just when they were doing shows.
Mm-hmm.
So if Bam Bam's wasn't doing shows, there was nothing to do. So I was playing in a band. At this point, like I was like totally a part of in deep the punk rock scene.
Yeah.
Which and at the time it was so insular. Like you had like the punk kids, like the skater kids, the goth kids, and like the super like trash like Hessian metal kids. We all hung out together because it was a strength in numbers type of thing. It's like that meme. I'm not going to say the homophobic word, but you know, I was punk when it was called the hey F word.
Okay.
You know, yeah. So that was true. Like, you know, it wasn't safe. You know, I had blue hair at the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it wasn't safe, like, to go out by yourself. You would absolutely get, at the very least, you would get something thrown at you from a moving car. At the worst, you would get beat up. Like, that's 100% real. Yeah. So you didn't go anywhere by yourself. So again, it was a strength in numbers thing. So yeah, we all, and it was always by like white dudes, and it still exists to this day. Like, especially in California, if you're like a punk rock kid, like a metal kid, and a cholo was never said, "Hey, you a rocker fool," then you're probably a poser, because there's always been this mutual respect between like punks and cholos.
Yeah,
like still to this day,
they kind of dress similar.
You go down to East LA in any weekend, and you will find a backyard show with 200 or 300 kids in it with punk bands playing that will be populated by 50% cholos, 50% punks.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely a thing still to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this mutual respect thing. Cholos are the fucking best.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, yeah, I had a band, my friends had bands, and my girlfriend at the time, her parents ran this radiator shop.
Okay. Is that Reagan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Reagan. Yeah, and I just got to thinking, like, I looked at it, and it's like, man, this would be cool to like just play in, because it was just a big empty space. And I knew a guy that had played in like in a Christian glam metal band called Crimson that my mom had actually managed for a while.
So many
stories.
Like
a portable, yeah. They had a stage, they had a portable stage. It was literally just milk crates and plywood. So I got a hold of that stage, we got a PA, and I just made a bunch of flyers. And it was for my girlfriend's birthday. Yeah, we went down to Kinko's and with a Sharpie and ran off a bunch of flyers and went to the skate shops, the skate spots, like the 2 record stores we had, and just handed out a bunch of flyers.
Yeah.
And it was that simple. That was the first show. And like a ton of people showed up. Like a lot. It was successful. So that's how it happened. Like, I did it because I wanted to play, and my friends' bands, I wanted to play a show with my friends. Like, we thought maybe like 20 people would show up, and there was probably like 100 people. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Yeah, and that's how it started.
So after you moved up here, the other house in Fall City, did you do any shows there, or was it not set up to do stuff like that?
No, it wasn't set up for it. As soon as I saw that new house, I knew what I was going to do. Because again, like, I probably put on like 5 or 6 shows down here at that point.
Yeah.
So I knew how easy it was. I knew, like, really, like, all you need is you need a space, you need bands, and you need a PA. That's it. Yeah. Like, that's all you need.
Did that play in any part to your parents getting that house?
No, I think.
Or did you just luck out?
Just lucked out.
Yeah.
Just lucked out. Like, it was just a coincidence.
Not the perfect, not the most perfect place for it. I mean, it's good. The access to it kind of sucked.
Right.
For bands. The parking sucked for it.
Yeah.
But you did it. People showed up, just like, you know, how many people were at that first show that you put on? Do you remember?
Not many.
Yeah.
Not that many. There was maybe 20.
Was it advertised, or was it just word of mouth?
It was advertised very sparsely, because I don't think we really wanted a lot of people showing up.
Just to kind of test the waters a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, it was sort of like a test run. Yeah, it was it was more than anything else. Yeah, it was like a test run. Yeah, so I know I didn't want a lot of people showing up. Yeah, I didn't know how people were going to treat my parents' house. I didn't know, like, afterwards, like, how my parents were going to feel about it. Like, we just really didn't know. Like we didn't know how the neighbors were going to feel. Like, we just didn't know. But I mean, obviously it went well, and just kept doing them.
And I can't remember how many shows into it before I went to my first one. I don't remember the first one there. I don't remember the first one I went to at all. I couldn't tell you the first one I went to. I do remember I was in my band, Liked Us. I believe this was the Refused days.
Yeah.
That with Jason, Eric, me, Adam, and Chad, I believe.
Yeah.
That was
that seems right.
Yeah. So did we play? Did that lineup play there? I don't think we did, for some reason.
I'm not sure.
I don't think that band, because by the time we went to record, and were you there when we went to Ellensburg? Did you go with us or no? No, you didn't, because you said it was boring. Yeah, you said it would be boring to go because you've went through recording sessions before.
Yeah.
And I was just starting to see your sister at that time, and I told her it was just for guys. She wasn't invited. Then Tim ended up bringing her.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
So she was there anyway.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she showed up. Anyway, that was fine. There were other females there. But so that was with Tim. Then Tim did play a show with us there, I think. The Tim lineup, maybe one or two. Yeah. Then he left. Toby came on board and played, I believe, 2 shows with Toby. You saw us at the New World. I'm trying to think of the shows we did play. The New World in Seattle. We played that. That was pretty early on. Let me see. We played some weird club in Redmond where like nobody was there. Just like in this alley. We had to walk through sliding glass door. I can't remember the name of that club.
Yeah, I can't remember either. It was midnight or something like that. I remember the show, but I don't remember the name of the club.
I think it was like you, Jen Miller is in the crowd.
Yeah.
I think that was maybe about it. Maybe 4 people there.
Like I remember that club like being a really cool club.
Yeah, it was close to the subway there, or sub shop.
Yeah, I remember. I just said I remember one, but now that I'm thinking about it, I remember like a small handful of other shows. I remember Zeke playing there, and I also remember Undertow, Strain, and Serenity playing.
Nice. I don't remember playing any shows in Seattle except for the New World. Right before our demise, we were getting ready to play Velvet Elvis, open up for Undertow at a Velvet Elvis show. Then we just couldn't keep our stuff together.
Pettibone really liked you guys too.
Yeah, he did. He kind of made it a point every time they would have a show, he would see if we were available to open for him. Yeah. I think it opened. Yeah, I think that happened a few times. It happened at Ground Zero in Bellevue. That was
Did you ever play there?
Yeah, we played with them. Balance.
Right, I did that one.
Yeah, I think you put that one on.
Yeah, I did that one.
That was a big show because we had no idea what Botch was going to turn into at the time.
No one.
We knew what Undertow was.
Right. No one knew what Botch was going to turn into. Yeah. Anybody that says they did were lying because a lot of people back then didn't like them. Like honestly, like. I saw their first 2 shows. They happened back to back. One of them was at a party in Tacoma.
Yeah.
And I went with Bill Quimby.
Yeah.
And there was like 15 people there. And then they played the next night at the Firehouse. And I don't remember who they played with. But their first 2 shows. And like their first probably like at least half dozen shows, like I booked them on. Like I did. There were shows that I did. Yeah. And they gave me their demo. And I didn't think it was that great. Well, they hadn't really evolved into what they'd become yet. Like the seeds were there, but like you still they were still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I remember you making fun of them. It was one of their first 2 shows. They did "Bored" by Deftones cover, and you were like,
but that was later on. They did.
Was that later on?
Okay, Deftones hadn't hit yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deftones hadn't hit yet.
Yeah, so I remember that show. There was some buzz with us at that show because I think John was telling everybody about us, and you were telling people about us. I kind of think we were kind of afraid to take that next step into.
Yeah, and John Pettibone being who John Pettibone was, if John Pettibone liked you, you were made.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't matter if anybody else really liked you. They weren't gonna say anything if they didn't.
Yeah, because I remember you coming up to me and said, so many people are talking about you guys, like in the parking lot, talking about like excited to see us. But that was a fun show from what I remember. That was with Tim. Yeah, Tim and Adam and Chad and I. I remember Soto smelling the mic because we played before then. Dude. He goes, man, I wonder, like complaining about what the guy that had the mic before me had for lunch because it stunk like whatever I had. But I remember that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So you were putting on those shows. Like I said, this is where our musical journey kind of
this is where it intertwines. Like not playing together, but like just doing stuff together.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't like I had put a band together like really quickly. Like basically it's like the first couple musicians I can find. One of them just happened to be the drummer in your band. It didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
So
that was Stronghold.
Like for a while. Yeah. That was Stronghold. Pretty shitty. I didn't really know how to write songs, and no one else in the band like really cared. So So after that, my focus was more on like actually just doing shows. I was getting more satisfaction out of that. And then, once I started like doing shows, I started getting offers to do more shows. And then that just sort of took up a lot of my time.
Yeah. So at that point in our lives, you had Krista. I was seeing your sister. You had Krista. Liz and I, she got pregnant, which with our first, which was Dempsey. So we had this relationship of music, but we also had this relationship of young 20-year-olds trying to figure out how to raise kids.
Right.
I kind of ducked out of the music scene at that juncture. You kept going. So in one sense, we got close as future brother and brother-in-laws raising our kids together, but grew apart musically because I was not part of any kind of scene except going to like Warped Tour shows or Ozfest shows or something like that. Nothing local. Yeah. I didn't do anything much local. But yeah, that time when we were raising our kids, which is crazy because our kids are now older than we were when we were doing that. Like 10 years older.
By 10 years, not by little.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how long we've known each other. Like 18, 19 years old. We met.
Our children are older than we are when we met by a lot.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy that we've known each other for so long and have all these inside jokes. Like I know it probably won't pass, but I kind of want to do the intro down with OPP. But I know it wouldn't pass copyrights.
We're at the hour and 37 minutes. We could have filled this hour and 37 minutes with inside jokes that no one would get but us, but we would think are fucking hilarious.
We would think we're the funniest people on earth. Right. And people should be sitting there deadpan, not wondering when we're going to get to something good.
Having no clue. Like we were talking, like speaking a completely different language.
Exactly.
Like the amount of things like I see, like it's on an almost daily basis. Like I will just say or think something that I know you are one of, if not the only person that will get it.
Yeah,
like it happens all the fucking time.
That down with OPP.
Yeah,
we'll just explain it, and you still won't get it, and you won't get why it's funny.
How do I explain it? Take it frame by frame it.
What's that?
Y'all jumping out and saying it.
What's that now?
For people, that's like the actual song.
Yeah.
That's like the actual OPP song. But anyway, yeah. So
we were trying to discuss what OPP stood for. And I believe you were in my car, passenger side. We're at the bottom of the driveway of your parents' place. And I just said, for no reason whatsoever, makes zero sense. It still doesn't make any sense. I said it was Orange Pop Proppers. And we probably sat at the bottom of that parking lot and laughed for probably 10 minutes, like tears in our eyes for zero reason. And I still think about it and I want to.
Me too. Yeah.
And I think that was the same spot. You got so mad at me. You're wearing this crisp white band shirt, drinking. For some reason, I'll blame you for this. You were drinking like some kind of Kool-Aid drink or something with an open, Hawaiian punch in an open cup, no lid. As I was driving, and as you were getting ready to take a drink, I pushed on the gas, and you spilt.
It was my brand new striped shirt. Yeah,
I remember that. So fucking mad at me.
Like, dude, I had seriously gotten that shirt in the mail from Victory Records like the day before.
You're so happy.
I'd had that shirt less than 24 hours.
To this day, I won't admit if I did it on purpose, not trying to ruin your shirt. I defended myself by saying, I didn't know you were getting ready to take a drink. But knowing me now and knowing what I did to a lot of other people, I probably did do it on purpose. Not to ruin your shirt, just to make you spill something on yourself, not knowing how in love with that shirt you were and how proud of it you were.
Yeah, I was super stoked on that shirt. That was an awesome shirt.
Yeah. Short-lived memory of the crisp, clean white shirt.
Yeah, that one did not last long.
Yeah. So then we come, well, I don't think we need to go into too much of when you moved away. You know, we kind of lost contact for a while. I think a lot of it, I purposely lost contact with you.
Yeah.
We don't need to get into any of that, but you went down to California to pursue wrestling.
That's not why.
That's not why, but that's what happened. I kind of know why you did.
Yeah, I'll be honest, and I'll just be brief. My mental health was not good. Like it was really bad. I was in a relationship now that I know was highly toxic and abusive, and I had nowhere else to go. Honestly, things with my parents at the time were not good either.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to. It's one of those things where it's still hard for me to say if it was the right choice or if it was the wrong choice. But the fact that I'm still here, and I can't say for sure that I would be.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have came down here when I did.
Yeah.
Like that suggests that it may have been, it was the right choice at the time.
And my feelings about you at the time, I'll tell, maybe this will make it a little clearer. I wrote a song about you that you still don't know about.
Nope. Yeah, I did not know that.
With 30s Burning, it was a song called Sacrifice. Probably the heaviest song that 30s Burning did. And if you want to go back and listen to those lyrics, you'll probably figure out where my mind was at with that decision that you made. Not, knowing what I know now and how things turned out. That's neither here nor there. That's how I was feeling at the time, because we were raising our kids together, and I felt I felt that kind of bond was abandoned. I mean, it was probably a personal, kind of a personal selfish thing on my part that I felt that way.
Yes, I didn't. This has never been discussed. I didn't know that. I had no idea. Yeah,
that whole bond, because it was not too much longer after that your sister and I were not good and going through our stuff, and I ended up moving away too. I moved across the state to I didn't have anywhere to go either, but so I kind of the same path. I mean, I moved away a little closer, but I mean now it's way more understandable now as 50-year-olds or close to 50-year-olds than it was when we were mid-20s.
Yeah.
So for the reasons that you moved down there, anyway, you've always had the dream of being a professional wrestler.
Yeah. So that actually had nothing to do with with why I moved here. It just coincidentally, I got here and it just I happened to live close to a gym. One of the things I needed to change was I needed to get my weight in check, and I lived close to a gym, walking distance. And walked into that gym, and they had Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'd been interested in that stuff, and I wanted to start that stuff, and it just so happened that one of the guys had just literally just not even a week before came back from training at the Heart Dungeon, and and it was just total by chance and coincidence that happened.
Yeah.
So it was something that I always wanted to do, and the pieces just fell into place.
Yeah.
He had started training at the Heart Dungeon, didn't really finish his training there, and was going to be driving down to LA, which again is hour and a half away from here, for training on the weekends. Split gas money, and we'll go together. And it was just just happened. So
that's another thing, our inside jokes. We could probably do a 2-hour plus podcast on weight loss journey and stuff like that,
which we should at some point.
We might, we still might do that. Because you had what was your biggest weight loss after did that?
257.
27. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm close. We're real close. My highest was 275. Well, not my highest weight. My highest weight loss. My highest weight was 713, which it's a crazy number because getting in comparing it to wrestling, Andre the Giant was 550.
Yeah,
I had him by 100. I had him by 150 pounds. And
Yokozuna was just under 600 pounds when he died.
It's nuts. I shouldn't be alive at that weight. There's no way.
No.
So, I mean, we both, obviously we did it different ways. I don't care how you lose weight, as long as you do it and as long as you become healthier.
Me too. I know a lot of people that they lose weight without surgery, get down on people. No, that's not true. I know there are some people that don't go the surgery route, that get down on people. Most people that I've encountered say the exact same thing. It doesn't matter how you do it.
And it's not really people that do it natural. I think they're more sympathetic with people that do the surgery. The people that have never been heavy think it's the lazy, easy way out.
People that don't have the surgery understand that, because I've gone through all the same, pre-surgery stuff. I understand that, there's nothing different to lose weight that I did than what you did. There's no different.
Yeah.
There's no different whatsoever.
Yeah.
And, it's I really started because I was going through all of the prerequisites to do the surgery. Mm-hmm. And just, me being who I am, it's I'm in this room with other people, and, you're supposed to lose, it was 15% of your body, or it was 12%, I think it was, your body weight.
Yeah, so mine was 5.
Me,
yeah.
me being me, at your weight and 5% your weight and and 12% of my weight's going to be pretty relative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I just remember thinking that, okay, well, if everybody else in here is going to lose 12, I'm going to lose 15, and then that's just me being me, and then finish everything, which I lost. I think I lost like 17% or something like that. I lost a lot.
Yeah.
Because I had that really like initial. It just so happened that like I when work had to shut down for a while to like redo the building. So like I was still getting paid. I was on salary. So like I had like 3 weeks where I didn't have to go to work, and so that allowed me to like build this crazy momentum. So that was cool. That definitely helped.
Yeah.
But then by the time I had finished all the prerequisites, I got my referral to the doctor, and then I said, and it was good for a year. So I just said, okay, well, I'm see how far I can take this in a year, and then after a year, I'll lose as much as I can on my own, and then I'll have the surgery. And then after that year, like the surgery wasn't even. A doctor wouldn't have done it at that point.
Yeah, I had to lose. So I had to lose. It was like 5% of the weight. It was messed up at the beginning because they had my weight at lower than it actually was. So they had me, but that was their official weight they had me at. So it was like 30 pounds lower than what I was. So I had to lose 5% from that point that they had, but I was like 30 pounds heavier than that. So I had to lose I had to lose like 60 pounds to meet the requirements. But in that year, I ended up losing like 124 or something like that on my own. Had the surgery, then I've lost, whatever since. I lost like 100. Then I had that growth pannus thing that I had operated on in October, which they told me no matter what you do, that's going to be there. You're not going to lose that. You have to get it surgically removed. Went through like 2 years. We tried to get referrals from like 7 or 8 different plastic surgeons. No one would even take my appointment because they look at numbers on a page or numbers on a computer. I'm not 30% or 30% BMI, so they wouldn't even look at my case. They're 35, I think they wanted me out until I met that one surgeon, and he was willing to do it. That pannus weighed 42 pounds, just weighing like 3 bowling balls, like weighing. And like ever since then, things have been like really good. I'm on the verge of getting the second surgery for weight loss, because anyway, we got off on a tangent on weight loss.
No, it's amazing, Joe. I'm super proud of you.
I'm proud of you too for the way you did it. And I wish I was a little more motivated in the exercise department, which I'm zero motivated in exercise.
And that's the thing, it's like I got lucky because I found, dude, I like lifting weights. I like jujitsu. It's like I like doing things that happen to just coincide with. I just happen to like doing things that help me lose weight.
Yeah.
But not everybody's going to, so you have to find that thing that's going to work for you. So that's why it's, you can't really compare yourself to anyone else. It's not going to be the same. It's like, I like doing these things. I genuinely enjoy them.
Yeah.
And, those are things like, you can't make yourself like them. If you don't like them the first couple times, you're not going to like them.
I mean, I had people tell me, like, when I was near my highest, just go for a walk. Dude, I can barely walk from my room to the bathroom. And dude,
even at my heaviest, just under 500 pounds was my heaviest. Dude, like I couldn't just go for a walk. Yeah. Like I tried. Yeah. Like it wasn't possible. It's like people don't get that. Like there is no pushing through it.
No.
Like when you can't breathe and like your joints ache so bad you physically can't take another step. There is no pushing through.
Yeah, and your legs feel like they're gonna collapse. They're not gonna hold you up. You're gonna be on a street somewhere away from your house on the ground, not being able to get up, which happened to me. It happened in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
I'm wearing shorts.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So that was the scariest, and I took a lot for me to get over that fear of walking away from anything. Like I have to make sure there's benches that I can sit on the path that I'm going to be walking, or I'm not going. It's not happening. Anyway, so you go down there, you get into the wrestling, and I'm not gonna assume what your highlight was. Actually, I am gonna assume what your highlight was, and it wasn't even you wrestling. It wasn't even you wrestling. It was you being on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
On national TV.
Yeah, that was it.
Playing a security guard.
Yeah, exactly. I was a wrestling fan my entire life. And there's never been a point in my life where I didn't love wrestling. You know that. And when I was a kid, that's what I would lay in bed and think about.
And how things should have gone, how you feel about how when Ozzy died, that's how you should have felt if Hulk Hogan wasn't a piece of shit.
The Hulk Hogan that I love died a long time ago.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It was kind of hard to mourn it.
And that still hurts. I mourned that. I mourned that Hulk Hogan a long time.
Yeah. So, but anyway, and even our music things intertwined there too, because you had asked me to write music for your last comeback tag team match, and I wrote your entrance music.
Yeah, you did.
Which is still one of my favorite things I've ever written.
That was fucking great. Yeah, it was great. It was perfect. Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being here in Cooley City, I'm like the Dave Grohl. I got to play everything. I got to do all the parts because there's nobody here to play with. At least that type of music. So I mean,
that was my highlight, and honestly, I still go back to that all the time because they're like so many things happened.
Yeah.
Like in that night.
Yeah.
That's still just.
I don't think I've ever talked to you about that night. We will. We don't need to do it here, but I want to know, like, if you got to go. Yeah, I'm sure you were backstage. You saw a bunch of people that.
Yeah. I was backstage for the whole show. Yeah. They have producers.
Actually, let's talk about it. Let's talk about
it. So one of the companies that I worked for that I trained with was a company called Ultimate Pro Wrestling. They were based in LA, and the part of the training class, the training class that I was a part of, included there was about 20 guys, and about 15 of them went on to have some really substantial careers in the pro wrestling business.
Anybody
One of them was John Cena. John Cena. Yeah.
You wrestled with him?
I was in the same training class as John Cena. Yeah. We went to
How Subway
together. We went to Subway together.
I bet you have zero pictures with him.
Oh yeah, none.
Even though you do. But you don't.
No, there are pictures of like documentaries about like his like career in the beginning. There are videos of him training. Like I'm in the like you can see me. Like I'm there. We went to Subway every day. There was another guy that we were training with. His name was and he's gone to have a pretty substantial career too. I mean, Cena's one of the all time greats now. So
people would put him on Rushmore.
Yeah, exactly, and rightfully so. Like he carried that company for more than 15 years. Yeah. One of the top 5 biggest draws and merchandise sellers.
I probably wouldn't because I had lost touch with wrestling kind of at that before he came in.
Yeah, he's one of the all-time greats. Yeah, there's another guy we were training with at the time. His name was Brian Kendrick, and if anybody is a wrestling fan, they'll know that name too.
Yeah.
But at the time, Brian was homeless. Brian was living in his car, and Cena found out that he was living in his car and didn't tell anyone.
Cena didn't tell anybody?
No, Cena didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
What John did is he would go grocery shopping like once a week and leave a grocery bag. Like when he would show up to training, because he worked out, like he would lift at the same gym that we trained. It was at a Gold Gym. John would work out 2 or 3 times a day. So for his first workout, he was moving furniture at the time. He was a furniture mover. He was living in an apartment, John Cena was, with like 5 other dudes. Half of them were training to be wrestlers. Half of them were like trying to be competitive bodybuilders. So his first workout of the day was like at 4:30 a.m. or something like that. So he would go to like a 24-hour grocery store, buy a bunch of groceries and stuff, and then leave them by Brian's car. And Brian didn't know for years that Cena was the one that was doing that because he didn't tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and that was just him. Like I can't, like anytime, and again, like he was moving furniture for a living. And he was living with a bunch of other guys. He was not making, even when he got his first developmental contract, it was like $500 a month. So like it didn't even cover his rent. But we'd go to Subway, we'd have a break in training, and if anybody didn't have food, like I saw him not feed himself so he could feed other people more than once. So it's like you see things about him being him like holding the Guinness World Record for
Make-A-Wish,
Granny Make-A-Wish.
Yep.
Not at all surprising.
Yeah,
like
that
guy is like it like everything I saw him do, like he's and it's not because it's like anybody told him, hey, if you're famous now, if you want to stay famous, you have to be this nice guy. Like that's not it. Like that's just him. Even if he wasn't John Cena, like he would still just be going out and doing good shit. He's just a good fucking guy.
That's the guy. That's the kind of guy you want to have the resources to do good.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm glad, and every time I've seen him since then, there's been a handful of times I've seen him since then. He remembers my name. It's like, and he's the exact same guy.
nice.
Like,
Nice.
yeah, exact same guy.
Cool.
Yeah, super nice. But yeah, no, that night was because he was there that night, and he knew me, and so it actually
was he up and coming at that point?
No, he was actually tag team partners with. He was already John Cena, and at that point in time, he was tag team partners with Shawn Michaels. He was champion too.
Oh.
He and Shawn Michaels. So Cena was world heavyweight champion, and he was in a tag team with Shawn Michaels. We're also tag team champions, and they were getting ready to implode.
Who was in the match that you had to go interfere with or stop the interference?
It was Umaga.
Yeah, I remember that.
Umaga and Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what it was. Yeah, so they have, the way it works is every segment has a producer, to tell you.
That was before you lost weight, right?
Yeah. Every segment, and before that, like, I took part in a tryout, and like, I got like evaluated, and I heard the same thing. I heard the whole wrestling career. It's like, hey, you're really good,
mm-hmm.
and you move really well for a big guy.
Yeah,
but like you still got to get got to get in some sort of shape.
Yeah. And
so it's like, and I can't tell you why I didn't do what I did later then. I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was awesome. We're standing there backstage, and, we're going over our segment, and the producer for our segment was Dusty Rhodes. Yeah.
Goldust? Dusty Rhodes?
Dusty Rhodes, daddy. And at one point I'm just standing there, and like, seriously, like 5 feet away from me, there's Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Dusty Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, all just standing there talking. Yeah, craziest fucking thing. And I'm waiting to go through the curtain for our segment, and I'm literally standing like shoulder to shoulder. I've got Dusty Rhodes here and Arn Anderson here, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And Vince McMahon is standing like right there. What the fuck is my life right now?
What was the wrestling show that we saw? Was it a WrestleMania, or was it a SummerSlam or Spring? It was Tacoma Dome.
The one that we saw, the Tacoma Dome, that was WCW Spring Stampede.
Because The Rock was there, though.
No, not at that one. No, that was WCW. Rock wasn't there.
The one that we saw, because that's when The Rock started coming out and imitating everybody when he would get to the top of the...
So that was a house show at the Key Arena. That was a WWF house show at the Key Arena. That was one of Owen Hart's last matches. Owen Hart died like 5 days later.
I remember it was like 4 legends doing a tag team match.
Mm-hmm.
It was Hogan, Flair. I know you'll remember Hogan, Flair. Was it?
Yeah, Spring Stampede. It was Hogan, Flair, Savage, and DDP. DDP won the title. Yeah,
that's like I saw some good. I went to another house show, and Happy Gilmore's boss was sitting like three rows in front of us in Seattle.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
EGA, I think we called him.
Yeah.
From Mystery Science Theater 3000. He was just obviously a wrestling fan. He was just sitting there in the crowd, and like, huge dude. Like,
yeah, I
think he was the guy that was wasn't he in Cannonball Run?
Yeah.
Cannonball Run 2.
Yeah, and he was Jaws in that Bond movie.
Yeah. So pretty famous guy. Then we went and saw awesome. We saw we're getting back to before you moved away. We saw that high school gymnasium show with Greg the Hammer Valentine was the draw.
Yeah, Christopher Daniels, who ended up being one of my trainers at Ultimate Pro Wrestling. Mikey Henderson, a guy that I ended up working on some shows with. So that was
that's pretty nuts.
Kind of funny how those like paths ended up converging again.
Yeah. Did you bring that up when you saw him? Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that show.
I just remember Greg the Hammer Valentine making fun of everybody because they probably shop at Walmart, and he wasn't wrong.
No, he wasn't.
He knows wrestling. He knows wrestling fans.
Yeah.
He can say that wherever he goes, probably. So did you put down, when you moved back down to California, did you put on shows down there as well?
So I tried to at first.
Yeah.
Because my grandma had given some money to her church, and they had this like ministry called The Gate, and The Gate, they ran shows.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just like Christian bands or anything, but it was like this. It was a really good venue. I tried to run some shows there, and they just, honestly, it's like they just didn't draw. Like there was no hardcore scene here whatsoever. Like,
interesting.
None at all. Yeah. So I did a handful of shows, and there were bands that I was friends with, and I ended up we ended up losing money, because there wasn't any money there to pay the bands. At least when they give them gas money. So yeah, and there were bands that just a few years later would have drawn really well. But so I tried, and it just there was no sort of like scene here whatsoever.
So it wasn't up until a few years ago where you started trying to get back into like playing music again.
Well, it wasn't for the lack of trying. There was just really it's just I tried and just nothing really took off. Like there was nothing, just really nothing took off.
I remember you sending me some stuff that you and some other guys were doing. You kind of wanted my opinion on some stuff. That one didn't go through. Then the next thing I remember hearing is you're in that band Rally Cry.
Yeah,
your most recent project. Unless you're in
that was
something
the most
now.
recent one. I just quit a few months ago.
Yeah. And that by far your most successful band that you've been in.
Yeah. I was in some, bands up there. I was in Left with Nothing. Like that was the band that did I didn't start the band. I came along later, and that was
I saw one show.
Yeah, I think you saw the show we did with Earth Crisis.
Was it at the Off Ramp or something?
It was at the Rock Candy.
Rock Candy, yeah, Rock Candy. Earth Crisis was there? I thought I only saw Earth Crisis
I don't know if that's the show. I know we played with Earth Crisis, but I'm not sure if that's the show that you saw.
I think I only remember seeing Earth Crisis at the Redmond Y or Redmond Firehouse, one of the two.
Yeah, they played there. So yeah, you probably probably. Yeah, I played quite a few shows with Left with Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, like I actually went out, I traveled with them.
I think that's kind of at the point where we kind of lost touch musically and maybe a little bit personally as well.
Yeah, because we just had a lot going. We just had different things because I lived in Kent at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I was working two jobs. I was working security at a casino, and I was working at
at Freddy's. Is that the casino was called?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So and then I was just busy. So we were just because you still lived in the valley, right?
I probably lived in Issaquah.
Right, Issaquah, right? Yeah, you did. You did.
Duplex.
Yeah,
or Renton and Issaquah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like we lived super close or anything.
Yeah.
So
not super far, not super close.
Right. I mean,
it wasn't like we saw each other at your parents' house, just by chance.
Yeah.
I was thinking about you earlier because we always took our kids to Crossroads, their free music night or whatever that was.
Those were fun. I've talked about that so many times.
Yeah.
Those were so much fun.
So the reason I thought about that today is I made for the first time lemonade, from scratch.
Yeah.
And we always went over to that lemonade place and where they made it, they made it fresh. That and pizza and your kids with fries, French fries and tons of ketchup. Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah,
that was our Friday nights at Crossroads.
Yeah, those were fun.
So Rally Cry had some success, more than you thought probably that was going to happen.
It started taking off like really quickly. I mean, all that was hard work on my part. I was the one that did all of that. But I mean, I was in that band for almost about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And we put out an EP, and we played quite a few shows with some really big bands. We played some shows that I'm still just I mean, there were times it's we're getting ready to play, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
We put out an EP. It was on everything. It took a long time to come out. I wasn't really stoked with the label. We recorded another one that honestly is now probably never going to come out. Half the guys that recorded aren't in the band anymore.
Are they still going as a band?
Kind of. It's they've played one. I left in February or March or something like that. They've played one show since then, and it was a local show.
Yeah.
At Jerry's Pizza. Stop. Hey, stop being dogs. But yeah, they've played one show since then. I think I saw that they've got one booked in a few weeks. But I mean, we were playing shows almost every weekend, really consistently. Yeah, so they're still going. Honestly, once the original drummer left, it just. I mean, there were a lot of things. It just wasn't fun for me anymore.
Mm.
It was really tough because it's I wanted to be in a band. I wanted to be in a band that were doing the things that we were doing and have this upward trajectory. The second EP that we recorded, we'd had a deal with the label. They were going to put it out. I told the guy that was going to do it, hey, dude, if you want to do the label, it was the guy who put out the original, the first Fall Out Boy records and shit like that. I was like, dude, I'm not in the band anymore, so you're gonna need to talk to. You're gonna need a different point of contact. But if you want to do it, if you still want to do the record, it's business.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on the record anyway, so like,
Right.
you know, it's like I'll get, you know, copies or royalties or whatever. I'm still gonna get.
Right.
Know? So, but once I was out of the band, I don't know if he just kept talking to them and the deal fell through or what, but that's not happening anymore. And like whatever momentum they had is just gone. Check every once in a while, like listeners and everything else have dropped off and all of that, which kind of sucks because it's still something that, you know, it's like I put a lot of time and effort into building. So it sucks to see it just crumble. But at the time, I don't really have an interest in it anymore, you know? Like I can't.
It might suck for you, but you're not going to see any of the fruits of your labor if it keeps. So
no, and that's the frustrating thing. Like I've been thinking about this. I would feel better if one of the other if one of the other like remaining guys would have stepped up and kept putting in the work that I was doing to make sure that like that band like kept like that upward momentum.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't, and so that's kind of frustrating. You know, I would feel better if they were still doing things instead of just just becoming some other, you know, just random punk band that nobody's ever heard of or anything. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
Well, cool. So I mean, we're kind of caught up to present day. I mean, we're 2 hours and 20 minutes into this thing. We can probably wrap it up here soon.
Yeah.
But I've been looking forward to doing this with you. Our relationship now is the coolest I think it's ever been.
Yeah.
We check in with each other quite a bit. We'll send each other stuff that
on like a nearly like daily basis.
Yeah. Like we still send each other stuff that's inside jokes that you know, we probably don't want other people seeing.
No one else is going to get them.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate, you know, our history together, and
of course, man, appreciate you.
It's going to continue. And if I'm ever down in California, we've talked about going down there. Renee's never seen a palm tree in person.
Really?
So that's one of our trips is getting there down south. And Jory and Vivian, which is their girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's from Southern California.
Yeah, so, it's like my heart is in like two places, you know. It's like up there and then down here, not Bakersfield specifically, but just Southern California in general. You know, it's like I spend more time in LA, like in south of here, than I do here, pretty much.
Yeah.
So and it's been that way the last couple of years, but it's pretty awesome down here. So
needless to say, eventually we will make our way down there.
Yeah, hey, stop it! I've got plenty of awesome things to show you.
Cool, awesome.
Yep.
All right, dude, we're gonna wrap this one up. I appreciate you coming on.
Of course.
All right.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you later, John. We'll probably be texting later tonight. So
awesome. Love you, man.
Love you too. See ya.